Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The Committee on General Government Operations, Appropriation, and Housing convenes this hearing on the appointment of Monica Okada Guzman, member of Board of Commissioners, Guam Housing and Urban Renewal Authority, term length 5 years. On the appointment of Angelina S. Leonguero, member, Board of Trustees, Government of Guam Retirement Fund, term length 5 years. And Bill number 104-35, sponsored by James C. Moylan, Senator Amanda Shelton, Speaker Tina Munoz-Barnes, Senator Will Castro, Thelina Nelson, Senator Nelson, Senator Jose Pedro Terlay, and Senator Luis B. Muñoz, an act to amend Section 58104Q and Section 58105, and Section 58116, Section 58117A, and Section 58128.3 of Chapter 58, Title 12, Guam Code Annotated, and to add Article 8 to Chapter 26, Title 11, Guam Code Annotated, relative to those corporations repatriating at least $5 million of their deferred foreign income to Guam. The repatriation tax to create a repatriate profits funds, its guidelines, and to establish a third-party agents industry for Guam. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of Speaker Tina Munoz-Barnes, ma'am, and also Senator Jim Moylan and Senator Tello Tideway. The conduct of this public hearing shall be as follows. Those testifying will be recognized in the order of sign-up on the sign-in sheet. Written testimony may be read. Lengthy written testimony should be summarized to about 5 minutes. Written testimony shall be submitted to the committee. Please provide our legislative staff with your written testimony for photocopying. Testimony shall be confined to the substance. Persons will be allowed to present oral testimony once. Once you are done, you may be asked to remain in the room for questions or for additional testimony, as may be desired by members of the panel. Proper form and decorum shall be practiced by all present in the public hearing room for the proceedings. Individuals who fail to maintain proper form and decorum may be restricted from providing oral testimony or may be asked to leave or be escorted or removed from the room. Fair warning, if proper form and decorum is not presented, you will be removed from the hearing room. Okay? I just have to read that part to give everybody warning. But final warning, you will be removed. When you speak, please make sure that the microphone is on and that you speak into the microphone. Please state your name for the record. We will now begin to hear testimonies on the appointment of Ms. Monica Okada, member of Board of Commissioners, the Guam Housing and Urban Renewal. Term length is 5 years. We will start with Mr. Ray. Ms. Monica, you'll be last, okay? We'll start with Ray, and then we go to Francis, then we go to Francis and Clara. Okay, Francis and Clara. I just want to make sure I pronounce the right name. Okay, sir.
Okay, good morning, sir. For the record, my name is Ray Tapazna, and I currently serve as the Executive Director of the Guam Housing and Urban Renewal Authority. Honorable Senators, Senator Barnes, Chairman San Agustin, Senator Moylan, Senator Tideway. I come here today to support the nomination of Monica Okada Guzman to serve as a member of the GORA Board of Commissioners. Upon being asked by Governor Lou Leon Guerrero if I'd be interested in taking the helm once again at the Housing Authority, I reminded our Magahaga that GORA continues to be under close scrutiny by federal authorities, so Adelup needed to be very cautious when vetting potential candidates to sit on its governing board. She responded by appointing top-notch professionals, starting with Sabino Flores, who currently serves as our chairman, and Joseph Cameron. Both appointees bring a wealth of knowledge and experience to the boardroom. When I learned of Monica Guzman's appointment, I became extremely excited as the GORA board was starting to resemble the dream team of 1992, when the United States Olympic basketball team took home the gold. Should Monica be confirmed by this body, we will add a very successful small business owner to a board consisting of a professional engineer, a retired airline executive, a retired Department of Chamorro Affairs president, a retired teacher, and a current teacher. Having diversified membership ensures that many segments of our community are represented. And it is so fitting because GURA is in the business of building communities. I'm also confident that Monica shares the same vision as the Leon Guerrero Tenorio administration, as she played an intricate role during the campaign. I can only imagine and gleam with excitement at the thought of who else may be considered to be part of this very dynamic group, whose primary responsibility is to ensure that the $65 million in federal funds at GURA are spent with the public's best interests at heart. As you may know, GURA provides home to over 3,200 families, provides a home to over 3,200 families with both our Section 8 and public housing programs, and allocates federal low-income housing tax credits to the tune of about $20 million annually. But we cannot and shall not become complacent, as we have about 3,900 families collectively on our wait list, and that number will no doubt continue to grow as our population grows. We truly need extraordinary talent on the board to complement GURA's excellent management team. So once again, I humbly request that this committee confirm Monica Okada Guzman to the GURA Board of Commissioners. This is just one more piece of the puzzle to complete our dream team. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I'd ask Mrs. Flores, you signed up also to speak orally. If you can please join us on the table so that we'll now proceed with Francis.
Hafere, Honorable Chair and members of the committee, good morning, good to see you. I'm here on behalf of Monica Okada Guzman. I have known her for so many years, and when she reached out and said, Francis, I'm being appointed to the GURA board, I was like, GURA? It did surprise me. I've known Monica for so many years. I'm sorry, I'm Francis Guerrero. Forgot to state my name. I've known Monica for so many years and in many different capacities. I've worked very, very closely with her, so I truly know what inspires her and what drives her to accomplish things that she does. Having served with the GUMA board as well as the CAHA board, I've worked with her closely on things that she's done to drive arts and arts preservation on Guam. I do know that she's got excellent organizational skills. I do know that as a self-employed business person, she has huge business acumen that she brings to the table, something that could benefit GURA and its board. I also know that in our dealings with GUMA and handling federal funds through a grant that we got, Monica has a strong knowledge and understanding of how federal funding works. That I think is something that she brings to the table as well that would help manage GURA through its board. I think the other thing that's the biggest about her that I've noticed, in all of the things that she's done, there are so many times that she served the people of Guam with so much compassion, something that GURA represents when it deals with all of our people of Guam that need all of the assistance they provide. I think she brings to the table a big heart and a big understanding of the people of Guam, Guam as it is today, and what Guam needs to deliver for its people. She has served with the government, I know, in many capacities, as well as in the administration under one of the past governors. So she does know the flow of government agencies, what it requires, what things are needed to do and get things through. I know that she works closely with the legislature on many occasions, lobbying for just all the things that she does. And she's quite good at it, I have to say. So that said, I think that Monica would be a great addition to the board. I think what she brings with her is very fresh and new ideas. As the previous speaker mentioned, maybe she does become part of what he calls the dream team for GURA. That said, I strongly advocate that the legislature approve and Monica's confirmation as member of Guam Housing and Urban Renewal. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am.
Speaker Munya Barnes, Senator San Agustin, Senator Moylan, and Senator Taitagui. My name is Clara Okada Peterson, and like Francis, I've known Monica all my life. I'm actually here on behalf of my husband, who unfortunately had to leave today, and he's asked me if I could, sit and read his testimony. Carl Peterson. He is a brother-in-law to Monica Guzman. He has known Monica very well for over 35 years. He writes, I am writing to endorse her candidacy for the GORA board for several reasons. She is very responsible and a trusted member of our family. She will be a working board member. She is especially good at growing people, giving them responsibilities, both employees and customers alike. She is a very industrious, competent, and conscientious person. It is highly unlikely she will knowingly ever be involved in unauthorized activities. She will be fiscally responsible in the governance of the organization and the many projects it manages. She will help ensure GORA operates by its own bylaws, as well as the many regulations as it relates to the subsidization of housing. This is why I have no hesitation in endorsing her for this board and actually applaud her volunteering her time to serve the community. Should you or your committee have any questions of me, please contact me. Thank you. On a personal note, Monica is very organized. Actually, I look up to her in that respect. And she's very busy. It's gotten to the point when people ask me what she does, I say, that's a really good question, because she seems to be in many other activities, and when you find out, please call me. That's just a testament on how she's a very busy person. I'm busy too, and I feel like when you need to get something done, you ask a busy person because they will make the time. I endorse her, and my family as well endorses her, and it would be an honor if you do select her to be in this board. Thank you.
Thank you. As a matter of fact, when I got the email from your husband, he was talking more about, because we're fellow writers, he's talking more about he's going to buy another Harley. So just thought I'd let you know that so that he knows I know that. Ma'am, Mr.
Thank you. Good morning. Your Honorable Chairman, Senator Joe San Agustin, Speaker Tina Munya Barnes, Senator James Moylan, and Senator Taitagui. My name is Lorraine Sanchez Okada. I reside at 146 Tejan Place in Barrigada. There's a rhythm there. And I am a small business owner, the Okada Managing Consulting Services. I strongly support the nomination of Monica Okada Guzman for the position of Board of Commissioners with the Guam Housing and Urban Renewal Authority. I know Monica personally as a sibling-in-law. She always removes the word in-law and just considers me a sibling. I know her as a special friend, and I know her as a professional. In each of these distinctions, she has exuded honesty, integrity, selflessness, thoughtfulness, and a deep sense of care for others. A visionary leader, and is always contributing her time and resources, not just to her own business, but also to our community as well. I remember back in 2013 when she came up to me and said, we need to help these talented and starving artists. These individuals are very talented and they can really make a lot of money converting their passion for their art into something sustainable and profitable. And so she, as a founder of the GUMA, which is the Guam Unique Merchandise and Art, came up with this idea that if we taught these individuals how to open a business, how to do a business plan, how to market their product, how to sell it, how to make money, we can be able to generate an industry of local artisans. Today, since that dream, we have graduated close to 200 graduates from this School of Business, and we also have graduated or incubated 19 startup companies or companies that have taken their business to the next level. So as you can see, Monica not only thinks about herself, but she also thinks of the people in this community that need the assistance. Back in 2000, and I believe it's probably 2005, she created a program called the Guam Transportation Training Program, where she made sure that our individuals here on this island who are unemployed, disadvantaged, collecting food stamps, and really had no skills to find a job. She created this Guam Transportation Program where individuals who are very disadvantaged have the opportunity to attend a training program with the Guam Trades Academy. We graduated close to 400 of these individuals, now gainfully employed. Back in 2009, her assistance was solicited by the Micronesian Empowerment Center to train individuals from Micronesia who have come and migrated to our island lacking the skills, lacking job opportunities. She worked closely with this organization and graduated close to 100 Micronesian migrants who are now gainfully employed. So I just want to say that Monica has the ability to identify these neglected groups in our community and build, talking about building communities, it fits right in with her membership or her being the part of the board of director for GURA. Because if it's talking about building communities, she has proven for the past 15, 20 years that I have known her, building communities and generating employment and job skills for these neglected groups of individuals in our island. So I strongly recommend that you consider her and approve her nomination for GURA board. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Flores.
Good morning, Senator Agustin and committee members. I'm Jane Flores, the board member of the Guam Women's Chamber of Commerce and the chair of the Chamber's Government Committee. The Guam Women's Chamber of Commerce is in full support of the appointment of Monica Okada Guzman as a member of the Board of Commissioners of the Guam Housing and Urban Renewal Authority. Ms. Guzman is the Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director of Galiti Group, a woman-owned small business and Hub Zone certified communications, public relations, and marketing firm that has been doing business on Guam and in the region for over 20 years. She has successfully managed projects for private and nonprofit organizations as well as local and federal government entities. Ms. Guzman is also a founding member of the Guam Women's Chamber of Commerce, and she currently serves as the chair for the Guam Council on the Arts and Humanities. In 2010, Monica Guzman was chosen as the Small Business Administration's Women in Business Champion, and in 2014, she was presented with the honor of the U.S. Small Business Administration's Minority Business Champion. Ms. Guzman successfully navigates local and federal requirements for projects on a regular basis and is therefore the perfect person to sit on the Board of Commissioners of the Guam Housing and Urban Renewal Authority. Given GURA's legal issues with past board members, Ms. Guzman is a highly qualified and professionally sound choice to sit on this important board. The GWCC is proud to support her nomination to the GURA Board of Commissioners. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Flores. I'd like to also recognize that we're joined, the panel is joined by, with Senator Regina Lee. Almost added the Besco Lee, but no, just Regina Lee will work. Thank you. I have one testimony, one letter of endorsement that I'd like to read that was sent to my office, and was asked by my auntie that submitted it, so as a good nephew, I'm going to follow what I've been asked to do. Okay? It says it's subject, Ms. Monica O. Guzman, Board of Directors nominee, Guam Housing and Urban Renewal Authority. Senator Snoxine, I submit this letter in support of the nomination of Ms. Monica O. Guzman to serve as a board member of the Guam Housing and Urban Renewal Authority, GURA. Monica is the CEO and Managing Director of Galati Group, a communication, public relation, and marketing firm that she co-founded in 1998. In 2014, Galati Group with DFS Guam established Guam Unique Merchandise and Arts, GUMA, a nonprofit entity that continues to successfully provide business training and business incubator support for Guam local artists and cultural producers. She has provided extensive support for our local community, serving on various boards to include past board chairmanship of our public television station, KGTF, and the Guam Council of Arts and Humanities, CAHA, and is a founding board member of Guam's Women's Chamber of Commerce. GURA's mission to promote the health, safety, and welfare of our people includes a mandate for orderly redevelopment and renewal of community housing that is safe, decent, and sanitary for low to moderate income families. This mission runs parallel with Monica's nature to assist those in need of guidance and support and to provide a voice for articulation and representation. When Monica worked with a Make-A-Wish Foundation, I was witness to her passion and determination to make magic happen when all seemed hopeless. Addressing the chronic challenges of limited funds available to serve all families in need will require creative minds, strong leadership, and effective prioritization skills. I believe that Monica has these qualities and has accepted the invitation to serve. As president of Sanford Technology Group, past chair of the Guam Chamber of Commerce Board, past chair of the University of Guam Board of Regents, and founding director of Guam's Women's Chamber of Commerce, I humbly ask for your vote for Monica Cruz, GURA's board nomination. Thank you for your kind attention and support. Sincerely, Antoinette Tony D. Sanford. Now we will proceed with Monica. Ma'am.
Hafa and good morning, Senator San Agustin, Senator Taitigui, Senator Moylan, Speaker Barnes, Senator Lee. Good morning. I am Monica Okada Guzman from the village of Mangilao. It is indeed an honor to come before you this morning to ask for your confirmation on my appointment by Governor Lou Leon Guerrero to serve as a member of the Guam Housing and Urban Renewal Authority, GURA, Board of Commissioners. Strengthening communities, one home, one street, one neighborhood, one village, and one family at a time is GURA's motto and speaks volumes to the breadth of the mission of the agency and excites me to no end. As a small business owner, I know the value of hard work. My company, Galati Group, has been in business since 1998 and over the years have been involved in a whole host of community-based projects. I understand the challenges our community faces and just how difficult it is for families to get ahead, especially families with barriers. Supporting job creation and job retention through neighborhood revitalization efforts is one of the priorities identified in GURA's 2015 to 2019 Consolidated Plan and Anti-Poverty Strategy. This is certainly one area which I believe that I can truly contribute to. In 2009, my team and I applied for and was awarded a grant to create and administer an on-the-job training and support services program through the Federal Highway Administration. The program was designed to provide training opportunities in transportation-related services and targeted towards the underserved sector and included classroom sessions through the Guam Trades Academy and the Guam Community College, as well as on-the-job mentoring from participating contractors. We provided daycare and transportation for individuals with these barriers that prevented them from pursuing training and employment opportunities. 167 participants enrolled and completed various stages of the training, 21% of whom were females and included 16 veterans and 26 individuals with disabilities. Today, a number of our participants are actively employed in the construction industry, and some are currently enrolled in the apprenticeship program. The program continues today, although scaled down due to budget constraints, and we are now preparing to launch our next OJTSS grant cycle that will focus on providing training for program management and journeyman certification. Job creation and job retention through the support of small business incubator development is another priority outlined in GURA's strategic plan. As one of the founders of Guam Unique Merchandise and Arts Program, I have been directly involved in small business incubation. I know firsthand that Guam has many aspiring young entrepreneurs, or artrepreneurs, as Senator Marsh says, that want to make their mark on Guam. Just this past Saturday, we graduated 26 participants in our 16-week GUMA mentoring and training program. And I'd like to thank Speaker Barnes and senators that attended our graduation ceremony. The 26 participants, now some will move forward for incubator funding. This brings the total of our graduates to 246, with 19 new businesses incubated and 79 new jobs created, just in the span of 5 years. A recently released publication by the National Governors Association in partnership with the National Endowment of the Arts and the National Assembly of State Arts Agencies, titled Rural Prosperity Through the Arts and Creative Sector, describes the principles of arts-based rural development and cites examples of how using the creative sector can strengthen economic opportunities and its positive impacts on communities. In reviewing recent GURA board minutes, I was pleasantly surprised to read about the Community Development Block Grant funded project, the Central Community Arts Hall, proposed for Sinahanya. This is a shining example of creative thinking, a venue for training and workforce development during the day that will transform into a theater for small productions, presentations, and meetings in the evenings and weekends. This is a prime example of strengthening our community, one project at a time. With my background in marketing and communications, I understand the importance of outreach, and I am passionate about our island and our culture. I bring this passion and experience to the GURA Board of Commissioners. I have to admit, though, the more and more I learn about the agency, the more motivated I am to serve. GURA is so much more than just providing housing assistance to low and moderate income renters and homeowners, as many would believe. I have learned that GURA is also about creating opportunities for their clients' participation in the workforce and creating positive impacts to our community. I humbly ask for your support and the opportunity to serve on the GURA board as a commissioner, and I am now prepared to answer any questions you may have. Before I close, I'd like to thank everyone that's here today that took their time to come out and speak in support of me, and to my family and my colleagues. Thank you, and si Diyos maasi.
Thank you, Monica. I'd like to also recognize that other folks that have signed up in your support. Joseph Cameron. We have also Liz Napoli. We have, that's the deputy, right? Yeah. Right, Ray? Okay. We have Pauline Okada and Sarah Dunstan. Middle name Okada. Dream team, right, Ray? Yes, sir. But I don't know if Monica got appointed to the right position. You know, that's because of her background. You know, I'm just amazed. But I'd like to start out first with the speaker asking any questions. Ma'am.
Sidzus Ma'asi, Mr. Chairman, Ana Sidzus, to all of you here. First, I want to thank Auntie Monica. I'll disclose that for the record. Her mother and my grandmother are first cousins. we usually have to disclose that if the relationship is close. But I also want to thank, I see Uncle Pat and Auntie Lynn, I see Auntie Pauline, Auntie Sarah, and of course you, Auntie Clara, who are all here, and of course other family members and friends to support you. And when Ray Kodge said you were going to be a part of his dream team, I said, yeah, you're getting a real shining star. And when Auntie Tony, when the chair spoke and read Auntie Tony Sanford, former senator's letter, and talking about the magic that you will create, I want to say it is literally true. For the record, Mr. Chair, I've been able to work with Mrs. Okada Guzman. I must also disclose that her husband is very closely related to me. We're first cousins. And I want you to know that, yes, he is a Muña Guzman. And I want you to know that there has not been a project that she has not worked on that she includes to bring people together, create opportunities, make sure people shine, while she continues to stay just in the background to see everybody succeed. One that brings to mind, Mr. Chair, was the most recent one where for many years she did the project almost single-handedly, bringing people together. It was the Festival of Pacific Arts in 2016, and with all the hard work, though she stayed so far behind the scenes after the fact, I want to say that the work she does continues to be recognized internationally, and everybody who knows my Auntie Monica knows that her heart is as good as gold. And I'd be literally humbled and honored to see the work of GUMA, I see all the players, the chairman is here. I saw the work of the students that participated. Ms. Lorraine, I know that it is not easy to find resources, but the opportunity that she creates continues to bring a lot of projects and a lot of federal grants, and I know that you're an expert at that. I want to say that just you reading your letter, wanting to be a part of the Gura family now, I want to say thank you for the blessing, because you look at what Gura has to offer for our residents. You look at that you want to tap into those who live within the Gura community for their training, to look at the training opportunities, to look at their expertise in the arts, to look at their expertise in what they can be good at, and that you're going to pick that up. And I want to say that every time you look at, you touch something, you literally give our people the opportunity to shine. And most recently, Auntie Clara, the GUMA story, the over 200 students that have been able to get federal funding just from the little funding that this August body gave. I know that you're going to continue to give. I stand and rise in full support. I see that you've delineated a lot of projects you want to work with Mr. Ray Tapasha. I'm going to tell you, they will be really successful with her and your team working together. My heart with Gura as former oversight chair and literally trying to give a better quality of life for our residents is real near and dear to my heart. So thank you for stepping up. You've got my support. I hope that he can put it up for the May's agenda so that we can approve you right away. Thank you. And thank you for everybody for being here.
Thank you, Speaker. Senator Lee.
Susan Masi, Mr. Chair, good morning, everyone, and welcome to your Guam Congress building. I want to just start by thanking our Mega Haga for nominating somebody so capable. Auntie Monica, I had the opportunity of working with you for a number of different projects in the past, both personal and professional. And so I know from firsthand experience what kind of hard work and dedication you bring to every aspect of your life. And so I want to thank you and your family for accepting the governor's nomination, and to all of our stakeholders here, our community, for coming forward and saying very kind things about about Miss Monica Guzman. One of the things that was mentioned is that Monica builds up communities, and she focuses on those who are neglected, families with barriers, especially veterans, our disabled community, women and children. And you spoke a lot to the breadth of GURA's mission. It's a really big piece of the pie. And you know, we've had a lot of folks come out here, folks from DC, folks in our community, and we begin to realize that housing really is the key to so many of the challenges that we face. It's the key to good education. You have to have that foundation. Health, employment, really getting people in safe and secure housing, especially for these struggling families, is really the key to help them to prosper, help them to thrive. And so you mentioned the 2015 and the 2019 consolidated plan. It looks like we're coming up on the end date for those things. So I wanted to just ask you, you know, sounds like it's time for a new plan. In your mind, what would the new plan entail? How would the new plan be different from the current consolidated plan that we have?
You're right, Senator. It is the 2015 to 2019 consolidated plan. And my understanding is they're already working on the 2020 plan. I think if you go online, they are accepting comments on that plan. And I'm sure maybe Mr. Topazic can speak a little more to the content of the plan. But if it's anything that is any similar to the 2019 plan, there's so many things that that are included in the plan, and I'm sure with just a little bit of overview, the Board of Commissioners, along with the staff of GURA, will be able to focus and hone in on strategies that are achievable and will be beneficial for the clientele of GURA and the island in general. So more on that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Guzman. Again, I just want to thank you. You certainly have my support. And in terms of achievable strategies, I also want to ask, should you be confirmed, that you continue to come back to this body, continue to communicate with us and keep us abreast of your plans and how we can assist in making sure these strategies are achievable and just give us the most bang for our buck for the people of Guam. Sizos Masi.
Thank you, Senator Lee. Senator Tello.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And wow, what a great contribution to this board to have Monica there, Ray. It's, I've known this woman for so long, and not only she is fair, but she's firm. And not only is she kind, but she's also courageous. So thank you so much, Monica. I know you have a full plate on you, but I'm really glad you're deciding to do something like this because, you know, with your background, doing something different, like in the housing industry, is it spreads your idea. It actually brings ideas to the forefront of something like this and thinking outside the box. You know, so your experience is perfect. It's on key for this board. And you and I, we used to go out and have lunch every once in a while, and so I'm excited the next time we go out to lunch so you can tell me about your new adventure at Guam Housing. And all the, yay, this is what happened in that. So I'm excited for you, very excited, and it's a great fit for you. So good luck to you. Of course, you have my full support, and hello to the family. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator Tello. Senator Jim.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mrs. Guzman, congratulations. I heard great words today. I heard the word organized, I heard the word busy, and then the final one is heard you're in demand. So looks like the board got a welcome member to the board. So congratulations. I'm looking forward to seeing your name on the agenda for the session and placing my vote. So congratulations, ma'am.
Thank you, Senator Jim. Ms. Guzman, what can I say about you, Monica? I've known you for a long time. Known your husband a long time. We're in the same party. It helps, right? And then it doesn't matter, because what you do, it doesn't matter which party. You help everybody. And that just seems to be your nature. And as the speakers asked, that hopefully we'll get this out. Well, I'm only going to give it 2 days for folks to give their testimony. I'll get the packet ready and submit it in as soon as possible to CORE, so we can get it to the session floor, the earliest session floor. I just wish best of luck to Mr. Ray, because with his dream team, or the dream team forming up there, the board, he's actually got a blessing. All he has to do now is take notes from the board and run with it. And you know, as Senator Lee has asked, that come back to this body, what I'll do is I'll coordinate with Ray, that maybe we'll do some round tables to find out what's going on in Gura, and have the board all come and tell us all about it, do some PowerPoints, so we can tell the people of Guam the exciting news, or whatever's going on. I know Ray's going to enjoy that, because he's able to push this out. But you know, I do look forward to your confirmation. You know, you got 5 of us up here. The others will just help out, because they know that most of them know your background, Monica. And if anybody doesn't put up his hand when they ask for their vote, I'll be like, really? Come on. You know, come up with somebody else. But if there's anyone else that would like to testify, please come forward. And there being none, this committee will conclude the public hearing for Ms. Monica Guzman. The time is now 9:42. The committee will continue to receive testimony for the next few days, no later than Thursday at 5 p.m. And please address your written testimony to the Committee on General Government Operation and Housing via email Senator Joe S. @gmail.com. Sijus Masi for your attendance and participation in today's hearing. And for those at home, thank you for watching. We will now proceed on the next appointee, which is Ms. Angelina S. Young-Guerrero, position member, Board of Trustee, Government of Guam Retirement Fund. And the time now is 9:43. Ma'am. Angelina, come on up. All right, it is now 9:44, and we'll begin the nomination of Angelina S. Young-Guerrero. But I'd ask first the speaker to make any comments, because it's actually her committee, and I just happen to be hearing it as a member of her committee. Ma'am.
Mr. Chair, thank you for the opportunity to hear Ms. Angelina S. Leon-Guerrero. For me and our committee, I want to say that I'm very elated and very excited that she will continue to be a member of the Board of Trustees for the Government of Guam Retirement Fund for a term of length of 5 years. And I want to say that it is in collaboration and continuing to work together. When this application was provided to the Oversight Chair of OAB, I said, please just hear it, because you have given a lot to the Retirement Board. I want to say that when you were working closely with the former Speaker, Speaker B.J. Cruz, working on the hybrid plan, working on just literally giving the information out. I want to share with you, Ms. Lena, that I, to this very day, continue to get information and increase regarding how can someone in the government of Guam continue to be a part of that hybrid plan based on what the opportunity that was given to government of Guam agencies on that timeline opportunity. And I know that that would be a discussion for a later date, but I'm very surprised that now a lot of the employees within the government of Guam are literally taking the time to look at what's going to happen to them when they retire, or what's going to happen to their families, what's going to happen to them as far as it relates in perpetuity. And I'm more than willing to give a lot of that information to you once you get confirmed again. But I want to say that the governor of Guam has literally extended that invitation to you to be a part of this board member. And I want to thank, again, Senator San Agustin for taking the time to hear this confirmation on behalf of our committee. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Speaker. I'd like to first also recognize that folks that have signed up, we've got Joseph Cameron that signed up for support. We got Paula Blas, and also Joe T. San Agustin, my father. I met him last night, Antelina, and he goes, don't forget, you're hearing Antelina. I said, Antelina Sanchez? Yes. I said, okay, is she good? He said, yes. My first cousin, he's worked with you for the past 10 years. He's very proud, and he's very happy that you're going to be on the board of trustees, or still. Okay, so you're going to stay there, because he's not running anymore. But I also like to recognize that Ms. Jane Flores is also here, and I asked Ms. Flores first to speak before Ms. Leon Guerrero.
Thank you, Senator, and Madam Speaker and Senators. I'm here again in my capacity as the Guam Women's Chamber of Commerce board member and government committee chair. But full disclosure, I'm also the director of the Bureau of Women's Affairs and a member of the Guam Retirement System. And I'm testifying here not only for the Women's Chamber, but also because I trust Lena and I want her to handle my retirement well. So the Guam Women's Chamber of Commerce enthusiastically supports the appointment of Antelina S. Leon Guerrero as a member of the Board of Trustees of the Government of Guam Retirement Fund. Ms. Leon Guerrero is the General Manager for Marianas Physicians Group, Sagwa Manyagu, and the Marianas Captive Group. In this capacity, she is responsible for overseeing the benefits of dozens of employees to include their retirement benefits. Sagwa Manyagu remains Guam's only birthing center, and it is a woman-owned and women-managed healthcare facility as well. Another of Ms. Leon Guerrero's signature accomplishments is that she worked with 6 local doctors to create the captive insurance group that offers liability insurance for health professionals, something that was accomplished during a period when such coverage was difficult, if not impossible, to get on Guam. Ms. Leon Guerrero also has 15 years of publishing experience producing the family magazine Manyagu, which informs families about infant and child health and learning issues and more. And she's also the current president of the Guam Women's Chamber of Commerce, which promotes and empowers women in business on our island and in our region. Ms. Leon Guerrero, Lena, will bring this vast array of business and financial experience to the Retirement Board, where she will be instrumental in helping to ensure that the retirement contributions of the over 10,000 people who work for the government of Guam are managed in a productive, progressive, ethical, and secure manner. The GWCC proudly and strongly recommends her appointment to this important board. Si Jus Masi for the opportunity to testify this morning.
Thank you, Jane. Antonina.
Senator, thank you. Thank you, Speaker, and it's really, I appreciate the opportunity to appear before the honorable members of the 35th Guam Legislature. My formal name is Antolina Sanchez Leon Guerrero, though many of you know me as Lena LG. I appreciate the opportunity to continue serving as a board member of one of the trustees for the Government Retirement Fund. I was appointed initially over 10 years ago, and my concern at the time was ensuring access to health care insurance for our retirees. But I quickly discovered that the broader scope of responsibility as a fiduciary was twofold. One was to protect the integrity of the trust fund for our employees, and secondly, to serve our members by honoring the commitment that the government of Guam makes to our employees when they sign up for employment and a life of public service. Over the years, I've been proud to be part of a strong working board of trustees chaired by Joe T. St. Augustine, and as happy and as proud as he is, I share the same sentiments with him. I have joined by experts in finance and management, both from the private sector and the government of Guam. We work closely with our actuary, our investment advisors and managers, and we've had to work long and hard with the legislature, the administration, even the judiciary and the public auditors, really to help grow the fund and strengthen it since the crash in 2008. After recognizing that employees' fund balances and the defined contribution plans were low and put them at risk for retirement security, again, these parties pulled together to fully fund and to create the hybrid plan. We collaborated with that, and the success of that retirement reform is now before us. It's proven to be cost-effective for GovGuam, and it's provided employees with an opportunity for retirement security. For 15 years, the legislature has continued its commitment to actuarially fund the trust through the contribution rate. And that contribution rate, while it's high, it continues to decline, and the fund's security ratio continues to rise. Those are both good things, and those are things that have been supported and mandated through the legislature. By staying the course, the trust will be fully funded as stipulated by law in 2033. The contribution rate will continue to drop, and eventually to the normal cost of 6 to 7% annually. That's kudos to the legislature and the administration for staying that course. As a trustee, our challenge will be navigating through the changing market, the global economic influences, but we're committed to that. The trustees and the board and the administration are very keen on continuing education and continuing our due diligence with our investment managers and advisors, and to that we will meet our trust fund obligations. I thank you for this opportunity to appear before you and to continue serving on the Board of Trustees.
Thank you, Angelina. Do you have a copy of your testimony?
I do not, but I can write something up.
Well,
I usually just take notes for myself.
If you could please, so that
Sure.
we can submit it part as the record committee report. I'd like to also recognize that have joined us Senator Luis Muñoz. But for questioning, I will start first with the speaker, and I'll work to my left, and then I'll start all the way to the far right. Okay, ma'am.
Mr. Chair, and again, Lena, I just want to say thank you for continuing to stay on board, and I want to thank the governor for her recommendation to keep you on the board, and I'm really appreciative that you spoke about one of the challenges is the changing market. And the question that I was going to place upon you was, based on everything we've done to date to protect and preserve the retirement fund, what would be the next commitment for our retirees and those in the retirement plan moving forward with the changing market that we're going to have to look to protecting the fund?
I think some of the things that we have to be mindful of is there's twofold. One is what the government's responsibility is to its contribution to retirement benefits for our GovGuam employees. But the other side is also to teach and to continue to encourage our employees to continue contributing to their own retirement savings. And those are things that we've been looking at Members and Benefit Committee as well as with the Investment Committee, is to see what kind of options are available, because we do see that the returns from the market fluctuate so much and sometimes they're less than what they have been historically. So how do we make up that difference? And those are things that we do on a monthly basis as we meet, as well as quarterly with our investment managers.
I also want to note for the record that there was a couple of letters received by our office asking about the opportunity as government employees who did not go through the open period time for the hybrid plan. Will there ever be an opportunity for them to go back? Mainly several employees from the autonomous, a couple of the autonomous agencies were the ones who submitted the letter of inquiry to our office. And I wanted to know if that window of opportunity is closed.
Well, the window for applying for the DB 1.75, which was the revised defined benefit plan,
right.
That window has closed. It is closed for now. It doesn't mean that it's closed forever. And it is something that we have actually talked about at the Board of Trustees because one of the benefits for the defined benefit, the trust fund, is that if you open up the plan and allow for that, you're increasing contributions to the fund. So the trust continues to grow and it can continue to provide benefits to employees. So it is something that the Board of Trustees has considered. Discussions have begun. It was a big ordeal. It was a big deal for us to get the reform implemented. Yes. So we were trying to get all of that settled, and it was a year-long project for us, for Paula and her team, really just to get it set in place. So it isn't off the table in terms of looking to the future. Again, we're always looking for options to how to make the fund stronger.
Thank you.
And it's nice to know that people are looking at that as well. So.
Yes, definitely. I wish they were here when we were going through the plan to stabilize the hybrid plan. And at least we know as policymakers that they are those employees that are very much interested in making sure that they protect the livelihoods of their families after retirement. So I want to say for the record that I'm very supportive. You've got my support, and again, thank the governor, and I know that you will continue to work with Ms. Paula, who's been the executive director for a long time, but more importantly, that the continuity that you guys have in making sure that the retirement is intact for our retirees and of course our employees who put into the retirement fund. So, si Diyos maasi for stepping up to the plate. And again, I'm going to ask the good chair that we have an expeditious committee report turned in so we can work on your nomination for the May session.
Thank you.
Sainamasi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Yes, it'll be only 2 days. I'd only wait 2 days for nominations. I don't wait 10. It's too long. Senator Lee, ma'am.
Sujos Masi, Mr. Chair, and I want to just start by thanking the Magahaga. I think this is an excellent nomination, and I've had the pleasure of working with Ms. Lena Sanchez in many different capacities. We've worked together on nonprofit side with Guam Women's Chamber and in a professional capacity, and I've found that the same qualities that you bring to your professional and personal roles, you also bring to the retirement fund. And so I'm just grateful to the governor for appointing a very trusted and a person with institutional knowledge. We're not reinventing the wheel here. I know that lots of work, as you had mentioned, had been put into some of the recent changes in the past, both by Ms. Bamba and our actuaries, our entire community. And so I also was just kind of looking back at all of the work that you've done, and I'm thinking it's really fitting. You help to bring new people into our lives at SAGWA and at MPG, and you help them throughout the course of their life to have a healthy life, and then in the end with healthy retirement and making sure that they're comfortable in their later years. And so I think that's really interesting kind of circle of life and the work that you bring to our community. I wanted to just give you an opportunity. You mentioned some geopolitical influences and other things that could be potential current and future challenges to the retirement board. So I just wanted to give you an opportunity to expound on what you think are some current and future challenges that we might be facing.
Well, just in terms of the market returns, right? So back in the day, we had double-digit market returns year after year, and that's not the case. And certainly we have U.S. influences in terms of trade practices at the federal level that may influence how the global market responds. So we are like any other institutional investor. We're out in the market. So one of the challenges that is before us is to continue to look at different ways that institutions can, in fact, invest their funds. So We have quarterly due diligence meetings, which is really a great opportunity for us to work with our investment managers to see what works well and where we need to tweak things, as well as with our investment advisor who constantly brings us new ideas and things to consider. Now, one of the things that probably frustrates her is we don't work as quickly in changing as she would like, but I will say that under the chair's leadership and sometimes which may seem like slow movement, it has really paid off for the Government of Guam Trust Fund. Our slow, methodical consideration of when to make changes has worked out very well for us, and we, again, continue to grow as terms of the trust fund.
Thank you very much, and I think we certainly rely on your sage advice in terms of when we make those changes. And one thing that I will note, you know, I certainly support your nomination. I look forward to confirming you. But one thing that I would like to just ask once you're confirmed is that you just continue your outreach to Government of Guam employees. I think that's really critical. It's one of those things, it's kind of, you know, you sign up for retirement and it's kind of out of sight, out of mind until, you know, you're nearing retirement age, and then for some people it's a very stressful time and they don't have much time to catch up. So I think the retirement fund has done a good job of kind of explaining to people once they begin their retirement plans, but you know, maybe we should do a little bit of a better job of communicating what's going on an annual basis, or you know, every few years, just so that people are aware. And I'm not sure if that's something that you're already doing, but I want to just ask if we could just kind of step it up in terms of outreach to our GovGuam employees, just to make sure that everybody's educated and well aware of where their money's going and what that's looking like for down the future.
That sounds like a very good opportunity for us. So,
thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Lee. Senator Muñoz.
Thank you. My apologies for being late today. I really wanted to be here early for both you and Monica. But I'm just looking through your packet here and seeing all the professional and community activities, and I know there's no shortage of what you can do just based on this, and I think that the retirement fund just can't seem to let you go. Must mean that you're doing a wonderful job. So thank you very much for accepting the nomination once again.
thank you.
Senator Tello.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and save the retirement. Save the retirement. Por favor. Is that a sign that I'm going to be part of it? Yes, it is. So, Lena, no doubt in my mind, and everybody else's mind up here, and even who's ever listening out there knows that you're very capable, and you're doing a great job. I do have a question, though, for you. Sitting on the board, how many board members are there? Mm-hmm. And what are their, I guess someone has to be a Government of Guam employee, or someone has to be from the public. Can you tell me
Sure.
how many board members there are and their qualifications?
Sure, that's a great question. So there are 7 trustees. 2 are elected from the retirement, from retirees. So 2 are retirees who are elected from that constituency of retirees. 2 are elected from active Government of Guam employees. And then 3 are appointed by the Magahaga, 2 of whom are from the private sector, and 1 of whom is an active government employee. Classified.
Classified employee.
Yes. So there are 5 members from the government with government background, and 2 from the private sector.
Okay, and with the makeup of this board, do you have any recommendations at all to, you know, just to bring a broader scope, or, you know, people with experience to the board? Is there anything that you would incorporate into that, or take one of those positions and broaden it, or anything like that?
You know, I will say, and again, having served on the board now for over 10 years,
Long, yeah.
I think that the composition of the board and the way the legislation was written for this Board of Trustees has been very useful, because having active members of GovGuam, having retirees represented on the board, as well as those from the private sector, it brings a very good blend of perspectives. And over the years, we have had someone who's very strong in finance, our treasurer who has been there since longer than before I have been, as well as the appointed classified GovGuam employee member. She's been there a long time. So, and then we've had a mix of active government members who have been elected over the years. So I think the way the legislation has been written in terms of the composition of the Board of Trustees has been very successful for the board. And it's been very successful for the Government and Guam Trust Fund.
The composition is yeah, I agree with you on the composition, but the qualifications to open it up a little bit and allow certain people to sit on the board any recommendations in that area, or everything you think is okay for now? Can it be improved? Not adding more people to the board, but just the makeup of the board and who sits on there. Do you think there's room for improvement?
You know, I would say that the way the board members are either elected or appointed has been quite successful, I think, for decades. So at this point, I would not have any recommendations for improvements. I don't, if there's something specific in terms of what kind of training or skill sets that you're thinking of, I mean, I certainly would be, maybe I could answer that question. So,
okay.
But as it is, I think that the way the board is set is actually a very fair and a very successful way of doing that.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And again, thank you for serving on the board. It's a lot of work. You guys,
I've learned a lot.
Yes, exactly. And I meet up with Paula, every chance I get, and just to understand how the makeup of the retirement works and the board members and how their job responsibilities. And yeah, it's a lot of reading. And sometimes it's a thankless job, but I want to thank you. I want to thank you for all that hard work for the last 10 years that you put in at retirement. Thank you so much, and thank you for continuing to do that. You're greatly, greatly appreciated.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lena.
Senator Jim.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Antonina, thank you for accepting your nomination again. 10 years experience, that's wonderful. Yet everybody came in and supported you, so basically they want you to stay. Right? So, and you'll probably be there until you retire. So, like a good neighbor, nobody wants you to leave. So, congratulations. I'm looking forward to seeing your name on the session agenda.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Senator Jim. And is there anyone else that would like to testify? I see Paula here, but you already signed up, Paula, so you're okay. There being nobody else, Antonina, you've gotten my support. You've been there for 10 years. I should have retired when I should have. Maybe when I left, I shouldn't have left, but I left. I retired from the Army. I'm happy. I've got a pension. But, I do look forward to your continuance on the board. And we do, many of the folks on the GovGuam, may it be classified, unclassified, and retirees, are hoping for the best. Because, we won't know what's going to happen in the retirement fund until a crash. And hopefully there's no further crash in the United States government, I don't know where we're going with this president, but we'll just pray for the best for all of us. Because no matter what happens in the United States, it will impact us. A lot of people may not think, oh no, only on Guam? No, it will happen on Guam. But I'm going to support your nomination, so we're going to move along on that one. The committee will continue to receive testimonies for the next few days, no later than Thursday at 5 o'clock. I'll wrap yours up like I will do with Ms. Guzman. It is now 10:10. This concludes your hearing on your nomination. Please address your written testimony to the Committee on General Government Operation, Appropriation, Housing via email to Senator Joe S. Augustine at gmail.com. Introduce much for your attendance and participation in today's hearing. And for those at home, thank you for watching. We will now proceed to Bill number 104-35 LS. Thank you. But to the people of Guam, I'd like to also recognize that one of my colleagues here today's her birthday. Senator Tello, happy birthday, Senator. You weren't going to get away with it, Senator Tello. But we'll give it maybe a 3-minute break. And I know that the two of you are going to testify. Please come forward and have a seat. And then we will start in 3 minutes. So we get a 3-minute break. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We are now back. We'll now proceed on to Bill number 104-35 LS, as introduced by Senators Jim Moylan, Amanda Shelton, Speaker Tina Muna Barnes, William Castro, Talina Nelson, Jose Pito Terlay, and Luis B. Muña. An act to amend Section 58104Q, 58105, 58116, 58117A, and Section 58128.3 of Chapter 58, Title 12, Guam Code Annotated, and to add Article 8 to Chapter 26, Title 11, Guam Code Annotated, relative to those corporations repatriating at least $5 million of their deferred foreign income to Guam, the repatriation tax to create a repatriate profit funds, its guidelines, and to establish a third-party agents industry for Guam. Time now is now 10:18, and we have here to testify, I have Mr. Andrew Park. Of course, I have John Paul first, and then I have Andrew Park, and also we have from the Savannah Baza, but we will first begin with introduction by the author of the bill, Senator Jim Moylan. Sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Bill 10435 basically updates Public Law 34103, which was passed in 2018, by establishing mechanisms for our local government to ensure that, one, the law can smoothly be enacted, and two, Guam can experience the revenues from repatriation taxes. Some basic highlights of this legislation includes, one, amends laws to assure that those repatriating at least $5 million of the earnings from foreign subsidies can apply for a qualifying certificate. Two, it requires repatriation taxes be placed in a lockbox account and that tax rebates be sent to the repatriating entity within 45 days. Three, it establishes a 2% community contribution for GITA, and that this shall be determined from the gross repatriation tax paid. Four, it establishes 1% as a minimum commission for third-party agent can earn, while further requiring all repatriation transactions be completed by resident agents. And five, it provides DRT, the Department of Revenue and Taxation, the ability to retain some funds from the transactions to help pay for their services. So ultimately, Mr. Chairman, Bill 10435 strengthened the efforts originated by our now Congressman, Michael San Nicolas, in ensuring that Guam has the potential of experiencing a substantial amount of new revenue over the course of the next 2 years. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Jim. We'll have now John Paul. John Paul, are you kind of like representing former Senator, now Congressman Nicholas?
I just wanted to,
or for yourself.
That.
Okay.
I know that I currently work for one of the co-sponsors of this measure, but I am testifying in my personal capacity as someone who had worked on the original bill.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and I just wanted to come here to provide some historical context to repatriation and the bill that we had worked on in the previous Guam legislature. My name is John Paul Manuel. Thank you, Senator Muña, Senator Taitigui, Senator Moylan, Senator San Agustin, and Senator Lee, one of the original co-sponsors of Public Law 34103. I'm just going to read from the findings and intent of Public Law 103 because it provides a good historical context of the legal background of repatriation, just so that the public and some of the new senators here can really understand what we're doing with the amendment to this original public law. Y legislatura Guahan finds that in 1965, during the 8th Guam legislature, the late Senator George M. Bamba introduced Bill 167, which proposed the establishment of the Guam Economic Development Authority and the Qualifying Certificate Program, and Governor Manuel F. L. Guerrero approved the bill, which was enacted into law as Public Law 8-80 on August 21, 1965. Y legislatura Guahan finds that, as explained in the case Ramsey v. Chaco, from the 9th Circuit in 1977, quote, Prior to the amendment in 1968, the Organic Act also provided that all laws enacted by the Guam legislature ultimately would be reported to Congress, and unless Congress acted to annul the law within 1 year, it was deemed to have congressional approval. The original law granting tax rebates through the qualifying certificate program was passed by the Guam legislature and submitted to Congress while this pre-1968 version was still in effect. And Congress failed to annul the law within 1 year period. In 1968, Section 19 of the Organic Act was amended to eliminate the provision of implied congressional approval in the absence of annulment by it within 1 year. Thereafter, in 1968, the present Rebate Act was passed, changing only the percentage of taxes rebated. The court concluded that the Congress's failure to annul the original rebate bill within 1 year constituted an implied approval under the former Section 19 of the Organic Act. Despite its possible conflict with the Organic Act, the original rebate law was implicitly ratified by Congress's inaction, and the Guam legislators' later alteration of the specific rebate percentages did not give rise to a possible independent violation of the Organic Act, and therefore did not require congressional approval. So this created a legal framework for the qualifying certificate program, something that a lot of other territories, or really no other territory, has. It's a unique tax rebate incentive that Guam is capable of doing. Ilhasachuan Guahan finds that the United States employs a worldwide tax system where United States-based companies and individuals are taxed on worldwide income, even when that income is earned outside the United States. United States-based multinational companies are able to defer foreign income tax liabilities that would be payable under the United States worldwide tax system by reinvesting overseas earnings on an indefinite basis. A June 13, 2017 Bloomberg report estimates that the 50 largest cash holding companies in the S&P 500 have approximately $925 billion in profits held overseas. Ilhasachuan Guahan also finds that Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, introduced in November 2, 2017, was enacted in December 22, 2017, as the United States Public Law 115-97. Among the provisions of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act is a one-time tax rate on repatriated profits with rates of 15 5/10% on cash assets and 8% on other assets. Ilhasachuan Guahan finds that if multinational corporations based in the United States are able to repatriate those profits through Guam, such repatriation would produce windfall tax revenue to the government of Guam and may encourage local investment, likely resulting in direct job creation. Ilhasachuan Guahan finds that if the qualifying certificate program, if it were expanded to allow beneficiaries specifically for the purpose of repatriating foreign earnings, provides an opportunity for the government of Guam to encourage multinational corporations that seek to repatriate profits to locate their businesses on Guam, thereby becoming Guam taxpayers. Ilhasachuan Guahan further finds that under the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act's version passed by Congress, deemed repatriation on $925 billion in profits would yield a minimum of $74 billion to a maximum of $143,375 million. Thus, if a qualifying certificate rebating 75% of such repatriated revenue were enacted on Guam and all such income were repatriated with Guam, it would yield $18.5 billion to $35.8 billion. It is therefore the intent of Ilhasachuan Guahan to establish a qualifying certificate for businesses with at least $5 million in unrepatriated profits earned by at least one foreign subsidiary, which offers a 75% rebate for income paid to the government of Guam on repatriated profits. And this essentially is money that would have never come to Guam in the first place. By providing this tax incentive and having this money go through the island of Guam and these taxes being paid on Guam, these taxes would thus become part of the Guam revenue and can be used for things like GMH and the rebuilding of schools and our roads here on Guam. So this bill in the 34th Guam legislature was passed unanimously by the body, and I think we were all very hopeful that the bill could provide a great economic relief for the government of Guam, could provide the ability to solve some long-standing problems, like I said, resolving some of the issues with the GMH, with the facilities of some of our schools. And so I think it behooves us to see the whole program through and see if we can actually get it running. And I know the amendments in the bill by Senator Moylan would do just that. And I think we owe it to ourselves to see this program through. Thank you.
Thank you, John Paul. If I can get a copy of your testimony. Mr. Park, Andrew, sir.
Hi, my name is Andrew Park. I did submit written testimony, but I'll just kind of paraphrase since John Paul kind of explained through the original bill. So I'm here today to kind of support, I guess, favor bill number 104-35, which is pretty much an amendment for Public Law 34-103. I think most of you were part of the legislature when that was passed. So, you know, looking through the original repatriation tax qualification certificate, it pretty much piggybacks off of the qualification certificate program to add in a repatriation tax section, pretty much. And when it comes down to it, this is a great opportunity that Senator Mike San Nicolas was able to find. It's something that's very unique to Guam with the current QC program. And but when we looked into it a little deeper, there were certain I guess adjustments that need to be made to make sure that this can actually become a reality. One of the things that we noticed was the BPT. So there is a business privilege tax that could potentially be included into the revenue that comes into Guam as repatriated funds. And with that 5% can actually end up being over what would be normally done with the Federal Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, right? So there's a 34% that went down to 15.5% with the Trump Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, and there's an 8% that could be done with physical assets. If you put that 5% on top of the tax benefits that come out of the QC program, that actually can be over the 8%, which actually ends up being useless. So there needs to be I guess something in the law, an amendment in the law that kind of explains that can be exempted. Another one was also there's a 1% third-party agent. A commission to a third-party agent. The language was a little bit unclear in the original law, stating that it was up to 1%, but it actually should have been 1% or more. So that was kind of also adjusted in this bill number 104-35. Yeah, so I'm here just to support the bill, and I just want to give testimony on these different minor technicalities. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Park. Senator Lee, I'd ask you if you want. You can go last. Okay, Senator Muña. Senator Tello. You're good?
I just thank you so much for being here to testify, and I just wanted to make it for the record that I asked to be a co-sponsor of this bill. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'll save you for the closing. I have only a few questions. Very simple. I've always wondered about this bill, even in the beginning. On page, it's really all about the third party. That's the only question I really have. And I'm just very curious that we would want to lean towards an individual out there versus could Gita just fulfill that requirement? I don't know. John Paul, maybe you can chime in on that one, because I know that you helped write the bill originally, and then now I know you helped out because you provide some institutional knowledge on this one. So,
right. We originally included that 1% agent provision so that local people were given a fair opportunity to benefit from this program. Anybody can start a business, become an agent, and try to get Google here, try to get Apple here. And it was a way that we thought could effectively market the program, because it is the individual entrepreneur that is really going out there and trying to make this happen. And I think the free market was really the best way to make sure that the program happened. So that was the reason behind it. It was really to give local people the opportunity to participate in the program.
Okay, John Paul. Now, what would the type of license that would be? What kind of license that? If they're gonna get a business license, do you know what kind of license that would be titled? You know, because pretty much everybody has, you know, different license here in Guam, business license. So what, do you know what could be a considered title for that position?
Right. I mean, it could be business agent or business consultant. It's not specified in the law that it has to be any particular title, but I think those two would probably be the most appropriate.
Okay, thank you. Senator Lee.
Sijusmasi, Mr. Chair. I guess this question would be for John Paul. JP, does the resident agent, would that person have to be a U.S. citizen?
I'm not recalling in the original law, but yeah, go ahead.
I think this bill actually adds that it needs to be a Guam residence, and that's going to be decided really by GITA. So yeah, I mean, the reason why that the agent part was kind of amended was because the last thing we wanted was for the local people to go out and market this, and then the bigger companies realize it's a good opportunity, but they don't want to pay this 1%, so they create another subsidiary here saying that they're now the local agent, and they get their 1% through their own subsidiary. It's a loophole that they could kind of just utilize to satisfy what the law requires, but at the same time, they get their own money back, right? So that's what this new amendment was trying to make sure that they don't bypass this requirement.
I see. Yeah, it's just kind of unclear. It just says only third-party agents licensed to do business on Guam. And so I just wanted to ask the question. And I also, you know, either of you could answer this. I also just wanted to pose the question of why a 1% fee would be required, why we should require this 1% fee by law as opposed to just having, as opposed to just letting residents compete in the ways that they do for other financial services.
Right. I mean, as originally envisioned in the law, it was, you know, it's not set at 1%. You know, it could be a variable rate. I know that the amendment in the proposed bill right now makes it 1 and above, right?
Yes, so no less than 1%
yeah,
is
so
how
that
it's
it just
written.
provides a floor so that local residents can at least expect that floor of benefit from the program, and so people can compete on a basis of, you know, they can charge 1.5, they can charge 2, but 1 was just the ceiling, so that, I mean, I'm sorry, 1 was just the floor, so that there would be some benefit to local entrepreneurs.
So as it stands, the only barrier, I would say, for entry to this third-party agent would be they have to have a local business license.
Yes, they have to have a local business license and the ability to convince a large company to bring their money here.
Okay, Sijusmasi, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Lee. Senator Jim, your closing before I close.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the opportunity to present Bill 10435 today. The working that went into this just gave the original bill a lot more strength. We also ironed out things between Department of Administration and GITA and DRT, also providing monies for our government to sustain this bill and bring in funds for the island of Guam. We're looking forward to the opportunity for the third party to go out and market this bill for our island and bring in new monies to the people of Guam that we can foresee being used for the proper and the good of the people. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Jim. There being no one else to testify, the committee will conclude the public hearing on bill number 104-35 LS. The time is now 10:36. The committee will continue to receive testimony for the next few days, no later than Thursday at 5 p.m. Please address your written testimony to the Committee on General Government Operation, Appropriation, and Housing via email to Senator Joe S. Knox at gmail.com. Sijusmasi for your attendance and participation in today's hearing, and for those at home, thank you for watching. The time is now 10:37, and have a nice day.